I have encountered hundreds of adults who believed their growing forgetfulness was nothing more than a normal part of aging. Today, I want to alert you to 5 silent enemies that are quietly accelerating dementia, often without you realizing it. What I discovered over more than 2 decades of medical practice is deeply troubling. It isn't age. It isn't exhaustion. It is specific, everyday ingredients that are actively damaging the brains of millions of people every single day. And one of them is especially dangerous. My name is Dr. Haruto Miyazawa. I am a clinical neurologist and brain longevity specialist with over 27 years of experience in Tokyo. A few months ago, a 68-year-old woman named Missouri came to my clinic. She was worried because she kept forgetting where she left her keys, the names of her neighbors, and even what she had eaten for breakfast. Her primary care doctor had told her what so many patients hear: "It's normal. It's just aging." But Missouri looked at me and said something that stopped me cold. "Doctor, I feel like my mind is shutting off."
She was right. Her brain wasn't failing because of age. It was under daily attack by something far more common: her diet. When we reviewed what she was eating, the cause became clear. The same ingredients consumed daily by millions who believe they are harmless were slowly harming her brain. Sugar, refined oils, artificial flavorings. These substances inflame the brain and shut down neurons one by one. What makes this even more alarming is that many of these ingredients are found in what people eat every morning for breakfast. But that still isn't the worst part. One of them behaves like an invisible toxin, capable of accelerating memory loss without causing any immediate symptoms.
Today, I will explain step by step how a simple daily habit can completely change the fate of your mind. Throughout my 27 years in medicine, I have heard the same sentence repeatedly: "Doctor, I need something sweet to have energy." And every time I hear it, I think about how many memories are quietly disappearing behind that seemingly innocent habit. Because what appears to be just a spoonful of sugar is actually a direct assault on the brain. I discovered this after analyzing hundreds of brain scans. People who regularly consume refined sugar show slower brain activity, fewer neural connections, and increased internal inflammation. Most disturbingly, many have no idea they are fueling the same process that accelerates dementia. It always begins silently. First, there is a slight difficulty concentrating. Then comes mental fatigue after eating. Later, small memory lapses appear, mistakenly blamed on aging. But it isn't age, it's sugar. When the body receives a high dose of refined sugar, blood glucose levels spike. The brain, an organ that requires stable energy, must produce insulin to manage the excess. If this happens occasionally, the brain recovers. But when it happens every day with sweetened coffee, cookies, desserts, the neurons become overwhelmed. They lose sensitivity to insulin, stop responding properly, and slowly lose the ability to communicate. It's as if every neuron begins speaking a different language. And when neurons stop understanding one another, memory begins to fade. Over time, this process creates what researchers refer to as brain diabetes, sometimes described as type 3 Alzheimer's. Sugar doesn't only affect the body, it triggers a persistent silent inflammation in the brain, like a slow-burning fire consuming neural connections. This inflammation can last for hours after just one sugary meal. I have seen striking cases. Patients who ate toast with jam for breakfast, sweetened their coffee multiple times a day, and believed they were healthy, until their minds began betraying them. They forgot names, mistook the remote for their keys, left the stove on without realizing it. When refined sugar was eliminated, their concentration improved within 4 weeks. One patient told me something I will never forget. "Doctor, it feels like my head turned back on." And he was right. The brain can regenerate, but only if we stop attacking it. Sugar disguises itself as energy. At first, it makes you feel alert, happy, even motivated. Dopamine is released, the same chemical associated with pleasure. But that feeling fades quickly. Then comes the crash, mistaken for hunger or fatigue. To compensate, the brain seeks more sugar. This creates a cycle of dependency, similar to addiction. Over time, the brain reduces its natural dopamine production, which is why people feel irritable, anxious, or depressed when they try to quit sugar. In older adults, this dependency accelerates memory loss. Excess glucose damages the blood vessels supplying the brain, reduces oxygen flow, and weakens areas responsible for learning and focus. But there's something few people realize. Refined sugar also disrupts the gut microbiota, and the gut is directly connected to the brain. When that balance is disturbed, neurotransmitters are affected, leading to brain fog, low mood, and difficulty recalling words. Many patients describe this as having a cloudy mind. When they ask whether brown sugar or honey is safer, my answer is always the same. The issue is not just the type, but the amount and frequency. An occasional spoonful won't destroy the brain, but consuming sugar multiple times every day for years can be devastating. Sugar also interferes with neuronal plasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and learn. When that flexibility is lost, the brain ages faster. That's why many people feel they don't learn as easily as they used to. It's not intelligence, it's sugar acting like a chemical brake on neurons. The good news is this: when refined sugar is reduced, brain inflammation begins to decrease within weeks. Sleep improves, focus sharpens, memory returns. It isn't magic, it's biology. That's why I tell patients it's not about eliminating pleasure, but changing its source. Natural fruits, dates, pure stevia and cinnamon provide sweetness without harming the brain. Over time, white sugar begins to taste artificial. I've seen people go from constant forgetfulness to recalling childhood memories. The brain doesn't give up, it waits for us to nourish it properly. Would you be willing to give up sugar for 1 week to see if your mind changes? Share your thoughts in the comments. But sugar isn't the only threat. Many people reduce sugar yet unknowingly consume another sweetener that can be equally or even more damaging. It's hidden in juices, breads, yogurts, and healthy drinks. The body doesn't know how to process it, so it turns it into fat that inflames neurons. That ingredient is high-fructose corn syrup. It sounds harmless, but it is one of the most destructive enemies of the modern brain. I discovered this while treating a 73-year-old man named Lewis. He avoided sugar, yet his tests showed unstable glucose levels. His diet included packaged juices, industrial breads, and no added sugar cereal bars, all containing corn syrup. This syrup hides everywhere. Unlike natural fructose from fruit, this concentrated form overwhelms the liver, which converts excess into fat that clogs blood vessels supplying the brain. Over time, oxygen delivery decreases, mental fatigue sets in, and memory fades. Studies show this syrup inflames the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, causing learning difficulties similar to alcohol damage, but without obvious symptoms. It's a silent thief of memory. Eliminating it improves mental clarity within weeks. The same applies to refined vegetable oils, often marketed as heart-healthy. These oils are industrially processed, oxidized, and unstable. When heated, they release toxic compounds that damage neuronal membranes. Patients who switch to olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, or sesame oil often experience clearer thinking, better mood, and improved sleep. The brain is made of fat. It needs quality fuel. Another hidden danger is monosodium glutamate, MSG. While naturally occurring glutamate is harmless, industrial MSG overstimulates neurons, causing stress, inflammation, and eventual cell death. Patients who eliminate it often report better sleep, fewer headaches, and sharper thinking within weeks. Finally, there is aspartame, introduced as a healthy sugar alternative. In reality, it releases neurotoxic compounds, crosses the blood-brain barrier, disrupts neurotransmitters, and increases anxiety, insomnia, and cognitive decline. Patients who eliminate it experience noticeable improvement in mood and focus within a month. The brain doesn't thrive on artificial substitutes. It heals when we return to simplicity, real food, natural sweetness, balance. The brain is alive and sensitive to every choice we make. If we respect it, it can stay clear, energetic, and present for a lifetime. If you want to keep learning, watch the next video.